All right, so K-legs are done. Let's open up the tables. And again, these come in packs of 2s. So I'm just going to throw one off to the side. All right, so let's start off. Okay, so these cutouts are the back. This is the front of the machine. Obviously the tape measure says Consew right there, so let's not get that confused. Oh, you know what? I have to actually open the sewing machine to get the controller that I'm getting ready to mount. So well, maybe I'll just make this an all-in-one type video. So hang on, let me get the sewing machine out. All right, so I would suggest, God almighty, that joker's heavy. So you might want to have some help with that. Holy cow. Actually, Dave helped me pick these up the other day. So they come in there's 2 boxes. There's obviously only one sewing machine, but there's 2 boxes in here. I like to keep the second box. So let me see if this will allow me to do this. All right, Kelly, can't talk to you right now. Okay, so this box, I'm going to keep this box, and I'm also going to keep the styrofoam. Come on, let it go. There we go. All right, spoiler. Okay, so here is our box of goodies. All right, Consew 2206 teed up. Let me just put this guy off to the side for a second. Man, it's heavy. That's good. Okay, so in here we have our oil, which we'll go through and show you how to do that. You've got your thread stand. So we make canvas on boats, right? But yet they give us a little plastic cover for our sewing machine. So how about that? You get a cover. You don't need to make a cover. Instructions, keep them. Actually, I'll tell you this because I've already been involved in it. This little pack that it folds out like this, This guy has all the good information in it. So, but put this aside, don't lose this manual. Keep this manual with your stuff. Here's the new set of bars that are longer than the ones that come with those K tables. That's the pulley for the machine, which we'll go through. This is the pan. This is all the nuts and bolts that are going to go with the pan. And knee lift, a little bag of tools, which we'll go through. Boiler, some little set screws, which will be later. But this guy, this is what I'm looking for. This is the controller. So on the 226, the motor is on the machine. So we're not mounting a motor underneath the table, but we are mounting this. And this has got the switch on it that it has go, and look, there's a little button on there. That button gets pushed. That does the cutting the thread and the back tacking and all of that good stuff in there, which we'll go over. But we need this for the table. So all right, so what I figured out that I like to do with this is if you come over, you can see the notched out, cut out side. Can you see that? Should be able to see that. What I do is I like to come over 12 inches from that side, and then, so this is going towards the machine. This edge, 12 inches over from this edge, but it doesn't really matter because that bar is adjustable. So then I'm just going to kind of center it up in here. I do have a little drill for a counter. And that figures. Keep that from splitting out on me. So this just, and I am using these little grade 8 number 8s. Okay, and you know what, I'm going to go ahead and take this cable loose right now. Now our table, geez, sure is a lot easier when you get, okay, so remember, this is the back of the machine, that's the front of the machine going that way. So what I like to do is I'm going to move this 3 inches on both sides and then center it. 3 inches from, if you're sitting at the sewing machine, 3 inches from the right side is where I like to mount this. You could mount it wherever you want it to on here. It doesn't really matter. But in order for it to fit the way that I've got the machine cut out and have the legs out, I put it 3 inches from the edge, and then, let's see, it's two, close enough, square it up a little bit. And actually, let me pause because I got to get the screws. All right, so what I have here is a 1 inch number 10, and then just a 1/4 inch washer. These are aftermarket. These did not come with this. They give you these guys are what's supposed to do it, but and it's just shit hardware. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of find the center, put a couple pilot holes with this one lined up right. You set this one in. Now I'm going to come down here and make sure this is lined up. So the other thing too is you got to watch your twist on your legs, right? If you don't get if it's got some twist in it, trying to lift the table up and down with these big bolts, it kind of binds in there if you don't get it straightened out. So 2 1/4, 2 1/4. All right, now we can take, and you know what? Somewhere in this bag of tricks, here it is right here. They give you a long screwdriver and a little metric wrench. I think it's probably 10 or 11 millimeter, but nonetheless. Now what you're gonna do is take this guy and set it. Let's take one nut. You got 2 nuts and a lock washer on here. So put that in, put the nut on there. Not the easiest thing to do because it's kind of behind there. Come on, baby. Ah. Oh my God, are you serious? There you go. Okay. And then go ahead and tighten this down. Be careful now, it's not, you don't need it too tight, just snugged up. There's a lock washer on there, right? So it's gonna keep going. And then this, you're gonna come up. Actually, you know what? Let me turn this around and then I'm gonna get you guys a close-up, kind of doing it that way so you guys could see it. But let me get a close-up picture. All right, so you see this black pin that's right there? Well, this thing needs to be able to, when you push down on your heel, there's 2 stages to it. One is basically stop, and then the other one has to be compressed all the way down. So it's 1, 2. That has to be able to be compressed all the way down for this thing to activate, okay? So let me back up a little bit. All right, so this set screw, or this little set bracket, what you do is slide it on to both of these things. And then what I need to do is I need to put it, you need to get it high enough on here, which is basically all the way. I know my hands are probably in the way at the moment. Come on, there it is, right there. So I tighten this. When I push my heel, this is the front, this is the back towards us. When I press my heel on here, see how I can set that all the way down? That's set correctly. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten that guy up a little bit. So keep in mind too, with the tightening, I mean, this stuff's, it's cheap Chinese shit. So you can over tighten and strip stuff out real easy. But that's, when you're on your heel, you're there, and then bam. That's gonna back tack and cut the threads and do the whole thing, but that's what actuates it. So that's it, the table's on there, so let me get it set up and we'll get the head put on, okay? All right, so this is different than the standard machine. So this is actually an oil pan. And the knee lift is already built into the back of it. I think it's pretty cool, but you'll see why we don't need that knee lift so much. But in your bags of stuff, we have all right, so this is the other thing too. Remember, I'm doing this, read some directions, but shooting from my hip. Every one of these things has came with these guys. I don't know what they're for. They don't make any sense to me, but so I've just been discarding them for now. These are our pins to rotate our table, and these are our rubber mounts that fit for those guys. In your other bag that you get, you need this guy, which that's the lifter for the knee lift. And then in this little bag, there's a couple things. There's some needles. Here's a couple Allen wrenches that we'll use in a bit for putting the wheel on. There's also some screwdrivers and the lifter thing. But in here, there's a couple extra spare bobbins. And connected to this is a magnet, okay? But there's also 4 of these little nails, which we need these little nails. The magnet, again, so I'm asking you guys too, if you notice something different than what I'm doing, please comment, post, call me, something. But because this is an actual oil pan, I'm going to position this magnet on the drain. I'll show you later. I'm going to put it on the drain hole. Typically on oil pans, there's a magnet that collects any type of metal so that it can be sucked down to the bottom of the pan so that it can't go up through the oil system filter. So I think that's what that's for. If not, let me know. And I'm actually kind of looking for my scissors. There they are. So these are your 2 corner mounts. The smaller ones. These guys are going up in here, but they have this little tab. That little tab right there. I have built enough sewing machines that I can tell you you're fine doing this. If you just cut these guys off, all those things are going to do is they're going to make it a pain in the ass for lifting the sewing machine up and down over its lifetime, because they go up against this back and then it gets caught under there, and when you push it back down. So again, I'm not telling you what to do, I'm telling you how I do it. So I cut those guys off, and those are going to go in here. So the bobbin goes on this side, which is this side right here. So you take that groove, put it right through the machine, or right into the holes there. Get rid of this bag. The back one does the same. The little tabs were up, right? So position them up. And I also need a little flathead screwdriver. So this kind of becomes somewhat of a pain in the ass. Oh shit, hang on, let me back up. Let me do this first. Okay, these little nails, this is also kind of an option, if you will, but what I do is I take a pair of needle nose pliers and I just clip the nail right there, and then I hold it and I set it. Put 2 on each side. Then I've got a punch. I take the punch and I set these. All right, so done. Done, done, done. I can get rid of all these tools now. And I can get rid of this stuff. I'm using it. All right, well actually, so the plunger just goes in that hole. The big black tip goes up towards you like this. All right, so I needed that screwdriver. All right, these guys are kind of the easy ones. So what I do is I take a screwdriver and you actually stuff that in there. Let that set. It's not easy. They don't want to go down in there. So there we go. So keep in mind too that the weight of this sewing machine will ultimately, it will set this real nice. But that's it. You just set it in there. You don't bolt that or screw that down or anything. It just goes straight in there just like that. Now let me go get that beast and put it in here. This bitch is heavy. Hang on. All right, so I'm going to take these guys and put them in these holes right back here in the back and bring it over. All right, if I kind of lean it back, make sure I get those set. Then that'll fall right into place, just like that. So underneath is this gray wire. Well, I'm not in camera, but it's just a plug-in. So I'm just going to plug that in, and this cord goes through the hole in the back. But there you go. That's how you set this up. You can see it's been run off once. It shows the thread, how it goes in here, but the diagram's going to show you that as well. We'll go through all the functions, including the computer and all this stuff in another video. I just wanted to show you how to get this assembled. So there's your assembly for the 2206.